Everybody, we're live. Anybody out there? I find the first 10 seconds of these live videos don't ever air, so I'll stare at the screen by myself, alone in the forest here for 10 seconds. My wife back there behind the camera. Anybody out there? Can you guys hit like button and comment something sweet and nice and good so I can see if you can hear me and see me okay? Anybody out there? We're live right now. What's up? Maybe to prove that you can see and hear me, comment what city you're in right now and comment on what kind of device are you watching from, like a cell phone, tablet, computer, TV, and how old you are. I'm interested in our demographics here. I thought I would show you guys some secrets to living off the grid, and the thumbnail there is my wife Nicole in our garden, which is one of our secrets here. And have you guys noticed that if you've been watching Nicole and I here off the grid, our off-grid journey since 2018, have you noticed the world has changed? A lot of stuff happened since 2018. You know what I'm talking about? Probably shouldn't mention it because the words we say are tripped, they trip algorithmic ears. And what I will say is that the world has gotten a lot more expensive in that time, and it had already gotten expensive in 2018. So I'm finding that whether it's gold or whether it's property or whether it's cars or whether it's gas or whether it's food, everything's gotten significantly more expensive. And I don't think that the income that you're making or the income that you're pulling has kept pace. Do you guys feel like you're making more money or the same money as at the same rate that everything has gotten expensive? I think that 99% of people would say that that's not the case. And I'm feeling that as well. I'm feeling that because I first found this property. I was in Arizona and I was doing a lot of gardening in the desert, and I would binge at night raw land properties because my dream was like to, be remote at a, property in the middle of nowhere, kind of Dick Prenneke style. And at the time, I was doing a lot of things that empowered me, from martial arts and qigong and physical fitness that empowered my health, and gardening empowered my ability to grow my own food. And I had started to generate a little bit of income with the business that I was doing. So I felt empowered that I wasn't struggling financially anymore. So I'm reading your comments right now while you're watching. So one thing I'm doing right now to save a lot of money is right here, and I'll show you right now. So I just finished building 2 of these, and I'm building 4 more that look like this, and then a bunch more that are different shapes. So when we cut out the shipping container house here, built out of 6 sea cans, 6 40-foot high cube sea cans, 2-story house, all this extra metal left over, I'm now cutting up and I'm trimming it out with wood that I'm milling myself. So I take the trees that are in the way, trees that are in the way of the sun, or trees that are in the way of safety, and I'm cutting down those trees into logs like that, different kinds of hemlock and Doug fir and spruce. And then I have that mill right there, and I put the tree on the mill, and then I have a blade go through it and I cut it into lumber, which is over there, all that lumber. And so this lumber I charred with fire to make sure it's preserved. It's a natural way to preserve it. And I'm gonna build these massive raised beds that are made out of metal. I just, the part of the sea can that is painted, I'm gonna face out, and then Nicole is going to be the one to womanize that and make it beautiful. And the part of the sea can that was raw, I just put on the inside. And this sea can metal is incredibly heavy duty. Let me show you. Hang out. This is just a little piece right here. This is not like a tin piece of roofing. Like if you ever see that tin roofing, that's pretty light, that thin gauge stuff. This stuff is like carrying 20 of those. It's so heavy. Like, listen to this. You might want to turn your volume down for a second. Listen. like Captain America's shield right there. It's adamantium, indestructible. And I'm amazed at how difficult it is to frame like that, but I'm doing it. And now I have these raised beds that didn't cost me anything except for the gas it took to run the chainsaw and the mill. I'm just trimming it out. Oh no, I had to pay for the bolts. I have some metal, like galvanized or stainless steel screws in there. I had to pay for that. That's a little bit, a couple bucks. But all that's getting more expensive. One thing I'm asking you guys is, if you go to the store right now and you get like a 2x6 like this. This is like a 2x6 that I milled. It's that thick. It's 16 feet long. Here, watch. It's pretty big. So far, I've milled in like 4 days. I've milled like 50 of those. How much do those cost at the hardware store nowadays? How much money am I saving? So that's what I'm doing. Is I have been honestly very scared when I go to town. I'm not here in the wilderness. I'm very scared when I go to the grocery store and I see the prices on things, because I typically, oh man, how do you pronounce your name? Tyrion Lannister. Well, I am extremely humbled by your donation. Thank you so much. When you guys make donations like that, that's in the new YouTube world. I think that makes the algorithm go crazy, and it really spikes our videos. When you make those little donations, we'll of course take the money and use it to buy the materials for the house. But thank you. I always appreciate you guys donating. When I go to the store and things are so expensive, how are you supposed to buy strawberries or oranges or, fruits at the store, let alone organic ones, let alone locally grown ones that are at your farmer's market? Have you gone to a farmer's market? I love the farmer's market. I love buying from the farmers, but how are you supposed to afford that? It's expensive. And it's not expensive for the farmers. They're just charging what it took them to make it so they can make a little bit of profit, but it is expensive. I can't believe it. So I'm more than ever, I'm into growing my own food. And I'm really thankful that while I was doing martial arts back in the day, and while I was, running that business, I started teaching gardening and growing my own food in the deserts of Arizona, because now that I have 3 kids and I'm married, this is a skill that is still very relevant. A lot of people might have a job or a skill they have to give up when they have their family, and this skill is more important than ever. And I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of man Fox will be and what kind of women River and Willa will be, the fact that they're raised up in this more than I was. So let me show you what I do. So this raised bed so far is they're so tall. Look at that. I'm 6'2", and they're up to my hip. So they're pretty tall on purpose. And number one, when they're tall, weeds have a harder time getting in. How are weeds going to get in there? Number two, when they're tall, you never have to hunch over. And number three, I have metal to spare. To quote the Avengers again, I have blood to spare. So I can make them tall. So in this one, I have just the raw dirt. I'm taking the tractor around. I'm grabbing dirt from certain select areas on my property, and I'm moving it here for the bottom 3/4. Then I'll show you what I do next. So I've gardened a lot of different ways over the years, and I'll show you how I'm doing it right now. What's the best angle? You guys want to see the container house in the background or the forest? How about we do it like that? I'm trying to do this vertical because I hate vertical video, but I think that most of the young people are doing vertical nowadays. So look, so this has a lot of boulders and rocks in it, and it might have pieces of salmonberry, which is really invasive weed. Well, it's not a weed. It's a beautiful plant. I love eating them, but I don't want them in my garden. And I don't care about all that, even a little bit of grass, because that's going to be down to where the plants don't get, okay? So I might throw that one out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some mulch. This is wood chips that I wood chipped myself with our little wood chipper we have here a couple of years ago. So this was all wood chips, because all the tree I don't mill, I wood chip it, and now I have this very like forest smelling, mulch. And it's been 2 years on the ground, so look at how broken down it is. So the plants can grow in there really nicely. And so I'm gonna lay this mulch on top of this bed. And I'll do this in real time with you on this live. So stick with me. I'm gonna save you guys thousands of dollars right now, and I'm gonna give you a 5-year jump on how to grow food at home if you're in the city. Noah's Athletics. Well, you got a YouTube name that says athletics. So if you're athletic, why are you afraid of bears? I got bears. So 2 days ago, I saw my first bear of the season. And then last week, Nicolle definitely would have been attacked by a cougar 100%. Go to my last live and watch that. If it wasn't for Puma and Kai standing in between the cougar and Nicolle, she definitely would have been snuck up on and grabbed by the cougar. But we never really feel afraid. Like, we go back to that same spot all the time. But we have knives and horns and cell phones and bear mace on us all the time. And the bears aren't even around November through April. But what city are you in? I'm gonna try one thing really quick. Hang with me, I'll show you something. I noticed, I think I got a little carried away and I made this too much dirt. So, what have you guys been seeing in the comments? Tell me right now, when you go to the store, what kind of foods do you not buy that are good for you, healthy for you, because they're too expensive? Could you list off some? I'm interested in what you're finding. List me some right now. The last time we did these beds, we did it hugelkultur style. Right at the bottom of the bed, I put a bunch of rotted wood so that as the years go on and the soil breaks down, those rotted logs become nutrients. And then we go to the tropics, and I was trying to use a lot of wood chips because in the tropics, things break down into compost very quickly because it never gets cold. It's wet all the time and it's humid all the time. And then I've had success doing all those things. And so I think I'm getting kind of spoiled. I'm getting to the point where I'm not wanting to do all that work. And I have the tractor. So I'm gonna take the tractor, dump a bunch of native dirt in here with the rocks in the bottom half. And now this top half, I'll start doing my composted mulch. So watch. Inside here, I'll make sure it's nice and smooth. All right. The only part that sucks for you guys about doing this is that you may not have a bunch of metal laying around, and you may not have native soil laying around because you don't have enough land. Well, there's always something laying around, and if you're alive, then you have the ability to use your brain and go find some materials that are local in your area, and you can do that by negotiating or bartering with somebody. In the tropics, we built the raised beds just out of tree logs directly, you know? And in Arizona, I built my beds out of redwood that I bought from the store, so that made them very expensive. But I found that at the store, redwood fence post was the cheapest thing. So now here comes the wood chips. All right, we throw all these wood chips in there. I'll bring you closer. Check it out. I'll tell you guys some secrets about our show. So we're gonna be abandoning the yurt coming up. We'll have an episode where we break it down and take it down and we'll cry together. Maybe we'll burn it down. What do you think? Anybody out there want it? And we're gonna make the transition to the shipping container house behind me. All right, now I got a blanket of wood chips down there. Even a bunch of worms in here already. All right. Then I've gotten some things in the mail because we get sponsored and we order some things sometimes, and a lot of stuff comes in cardboard nowadays, and I've noticed that if you leave the cardboard out in the rain, it breaks down very quickly. So now I'm concerned that all these weeds are going to grow up inside this bed. So after I smooth this out, hello there, I'm gonna show you my secret. You know what's gonna be really sad, I think, is that people are gonna like try to figure out how to grow their own food by asking ChatGPT or something like that. I think we're quickly becoming in that movie Idiocracy, where people are like gonna be watering their crops with Gatorade. Don't you guys think? I think so. I think if you want to learn something like this, you seek out somebody in real life, like Luke sought out Yoda. He had to fly a spaceship just to go train with Yoda. He didn't chat GPT that shit. Be like Luke. All right, let me see what kind of comments I got in there. Hey, everybody. 65 from Philly. Yeah. So one thing I'll tell you guys a secret. I would love to have stayed in Arizona where I used to live for 25 years, because if I stayed in Arizona, I was going to get like a 2-acre property that was flood irrigated. And at the time I felt like, man, if I had an acre of land, man, I would be the king of life. Like I would be able to do everything I wanted to do on that acre. And then I saw a friend of mine got 2 acres, and that was, Phoenix has this thing called flood irrigation, and there's still properties available that have that, like water rights. It's like 2 acres would be amazing. And I can live on one, I can garden on the other. And now we've got 17 acres here, and we got 5 on the tropical property, and together 22 plus acres. It's pretty nice. And we're surrounded by crown land, and we're surrounded by raw land out there. So it feels like a lot more. And I would have gotten that acreage, and I would have built myself a adobe house out of clay cob with thick walls that were made out of straw. And I would have cobbed over it. And I would have made this adobe house that was sunk in the earth. I would have had a big hole dug so that, you know, half the house was down subterranean. And then I would have made the house thick with insulation to block the heat in the summer, but I would have put a wood stove in so I can have a wood stove in the winter. And I would have put the whole roof as solar panels. And then I would have planted myself I would have planted the whole property as female date palm with 2 male date palms. So all dates, all female mulberry with 1 male mulberry, all carob tree, a bunch of varieties of mesquite. So I have mesquite flower, different kinds of citrus like orange and grapefruit and pomelo, lemon lime. And I'm forgetting my trees here always too. And yeah, maybe even jujube and moringa. And then I have a multivitamin. I have fruit in different seasons. And those trees I just mentioned are, I think are the best trees for the desert and the ones everybody should be planting. They give you the most calories and the easiest to grow. And I still would love to do that. So now I'm in this climate. I grow native for this area. So now I have all these wood chips down, and then I have all of this stuff right here, this cardboard. See, we got this company, J Life, just sponsored the show. An upcoming episode, you're gonna see what they got for us, and it's pretty amazing. I'm gonna take all the boxes that came from that, and I'm gonna lay them down in this bed all the way, everywhere. What I do is I go back to the cardboard and I take off all the tape. I don't wanna have this plastic tape in my garden, so I take the tape off and I'll trash that. And then I'll lay this out all the way to the edges, especially because the edges are where the weeds want to come. And then I'm hoping that this will kind of hold up for a year and a half, and then that'll be enough time to kind of really kill the weeds out. And then on top of this, I've got my compost. So what I did was I got really nervous. I'll tell you some other secrets since this is live. 700 of you watching. I'll tell you some secrets, some money secrets. You want to know some money secrets from me? So I have a weird relationship with money. I started to make a little bit in life, and then I invested that money in weird ways. So I have this problem. I started thinking inwardly, and I started realizing I have this problem. And my problem is that I keep thinking that the world is going to end tomorrow. So I keep, if I have some success and I make some money, I tend to like stuff all the acorns in my cheeks like a squirrel. And then I hold on to them. And I have a hard time letting those acorns go out of my mouth, you know? So, hey, Nicolle Off Grid is there. Hey, Nicolle Off Grid, thanks for watching this live. So, for instance, like I bought a sawmill and I had to build it from scratch. I bought the sawmill 2 years ago and I'm just using it now. I filmed the entire build and I haven't shown you the footage yet. So I'll show that to you maybe next weekend on the channel. Yeah, everybody wish Nicolle a belated happy birthday. And Nicolle has some great social media. If you guys go below to Nicolle's social media, her Instagram, her Linktree, and check out her other social media platforms. She posts consistently every day, and she needs a birthday shout out. So go give her a birthday shout out in the DM. Don't DM my wife. No, it's okay, go for it. So, and then I invested in compost. So what I did is in my area, I have the 3-bay compost unit up top making our own compost. We make a ton of our own compost. We go out and get bulk kelp from the ocean, bring it over. Everything organic we use, from paper towels to food, everything. As long as it's not plastic, we compost it, and I mix it with wood chips and chainsaw, all the chainsaw filings. When I chainsaw, like that yellow patch over there, that's all chainsaw filings right there. I throw that in 50-50 mix, 50% chainsaw filings or ash, like ash from the fire, 50%. The other 50% is organic. Did you hear that sound just now? Listen. Turn it up. That's a bird, okay? I can see him up there at the top of that tree right there. But after the cougar incident happened, I went on YouTube, started investigating the sounds that cougars make. You know that cougars are masters of dozens and dozens of different bird sounds. You can find them making all kinds of bird sounds. So now I have PTSD, and I think every bird is a cougar behind me. I told a friend of mine who lives in Scottsdale that we had the cougar come, and she said, what was her name? Was she from Scottsdale? No, not that kind of cougar. Mountain lion. So I found a company, in addition to our own compost, I found a company locally in our area, the closest town to us, that provides almost all of our province with fresh organic compost. They have relationships with the tree logging companies and the fishing and the fisheries, and they take the morts, all the dead fish and pieces of the fish industry, and they combine that with all the when you scrape the forest floor when the logging is done, and they make this amazing compost out of it. And I said, okay, well, I want to buy a ton from you. I want to buy like several thousands of dollars of your compost. I want to like store up. So I got a barge guy that can forklift it on his barge. Can I just get those big canvas totes that hold like a ton? Can I get like 20 of those totes? Because I wanted to reuse the bags, honestly. And I'll just buy a bunch and I'll fill the barge up and then barge them over, and we'll spend a day just making a whole section of totes of fresh, organic, locally made compost that's still alive. And they said, we can't do that, we have to bag it. I said, why? They said, because we're not geared as a company to provide compost in any other way but bagging it. So I said, all right, I'll order, 20 pallets from you, bag it up, and all the pallets came tight, but I have so many bags now. That's why you guys saw us in the past use the bags as an underlayment when we did the roofing on the bunkie and on the pizza oven. So I was trying to reuse those bags. So I ordered another order of that, like 2 years of compost, and then we got pregnant and we wanted to go give birth at the tropical property. So that compost now has been sitting on pallets wrapped in bags with tarps over it for 2 years, and the bears only opened one part of it, and they left most of it. I would say they left 99% of it alone. So I came back on this trip and I undid it, and now I'm taking all the compost here and I'm putting it in this network of beds. This is the front yard garden at the shipping container house. So I'm gonna build them like that. I got native dirt down below of whatever kind you want. Try to get the grass and the weeds out. Then I got composted mulch to lock that in. Then I'm gonna put the cardboard on top. And so now, once this is all done, essentially I'm just building the expensive healthy soil right here on this 1 foot of stuff, And then in here we'll plant the appropriate plants. So the plants will eventually go through this because it will be soft and broken down. It's already been sitting outside for 2 weeks in the rain. I think it's pretty powerful because here's what I'm experiencing. That here in the temperate rainforest, the PNW, Pacific Northwest, we have an abundance. We have unlimited potatoes, sunchokes, asparagus. I'm thinking about perennials. These are plants that are growing on their own without me replanting every year. I have unlimited garlic, but I do have to do some work on that. But unlimited garlic. I have unlimited berries. I have unlimited shellfish like clams, mussels, scallops, and then other ocean life like unlimited prawn and crab and salmon and lingcod. And I remember living in Arizona, and in Arizona I had unlimited dates. I had unlimited prickly pear fruit called tunas. I had unlimited nopales pads. And I had unlimited citrus, like oranges, because I had enough people in my network that would give me all their oranges because they didn't want to eat them. So, and I had unlimited mesquite beans, so you can grind up those yellow mesquite beans into flour. And then the tropics, I have unlimited coconuts, unlimited bananas, unlimited papayas, unlimited cassava, unlimited sweet potato, unlimited ginger, unlimited turmeric, unlimited sugarcane. And coming up, I'll have, in 2 years from now, I'll have unlimited mangoes and unlimited coffee and unlimited things like that. All right. So I just named you 3 different climates that you can have free food in. So my question is that when you go to a place like Whole Foods, and you would think if you go to Whole Foods, you're going to get the highest quality food for the highest price. But if you have the money, you want to get the best stuff. And what I found is in Arizona, Whole Foods parking lots have a lot of date palms in them. And I used to watch those date palms pollinate and get full of fruit. And then every September, Whole Foods would hire landscapers to cut all the fruit down so that they kept the palm trees trimmed up. And then you go in Whole Foods and you can buy dates for $12 a pound or $20 a pound that came from Coachella in California or Iraq. So And this is a microcosm of the Idiocracy movie giving Gatorade to crops that I'm talking about. Is that why didn't they just have the whole parking lot be date palms, harvest those dates, and then 3 months out of the year, they sell their own dates to their customers? I don't understand why everything is not local like that. So I don't need to understand anymore. I'm going to be Buddhist. And when I used to do a lot of Buddhist meditation, there was one Buddhist phrase that really spoke out to me, which was stop asking why and just accept what is. So I don't need to ask why anymore. I'm just going to accept that what is that Jake Mace is going to go to the temperate rainforest and grow some shit. And Jake Mace is going to go to the tropics and grow some other shit. And Jake Mace is going to be able to identify the wild foods in his area on land. And he's going to be able to go, I'm talking to myself in the third person. I feel like I'm Mr. T. Mr. T going to go into the ocean and going to take his gun and going to hold his breath and spearfish all the lingcod. And Mr. T going to go into the ocean. He's going to grab all the bull kelp and put it in his compost. And grab all those scallops that are sitting down there at 40, 50, 60 feet. And in the tropics, I'm going to hunt that uku, and I'm going to hunt that omilu and menpachi and lobster. And in the tropics, I'm going to have unlimited coconuts and bananas all the time. And I'm going to have my own sugar cane all the time. Thank you, Michelle Couture, so much for your donation. And yeah, oh, and in the temperate, Michelle, with her emojis there, just reminded me that here, unlimited mushrooms in the spring and fall, you know, whether it's morels or chanterelles or pine matsutakes. So I want you guys, if you're watching right now, if you're one of the 1,000 people watching, ask yourself, what is your current state in life? How old are you? Are you still alive? Are you still breathing? Can you still walk around? What is in your area? Where do you live? And can you identify 10 or 20 foods that grow wild in your area? And do you know what month and do you know what week they are ready to pick? Then in your area, do you know where the local compost is being made? Because I'm guessing that you guys out there don't have the ability to make 100% of your own compost. So go find the local place in your area that sells compost that's within a bicycle distance of your house that they made. And put that in your garden, because that'll be alive, it'll be hot still. And then the foods that you need, like tomatoes and onions and that kind of stuff, grow them in that compost in your garden and put in that effort. Because every time I hear Joe Rogan talking about how healthy he is because of how he goes to the gym and he does his vitamins, and I this other guy named Brian Johnson that does this, like he's spending millions a year trying to live forever. I never see any of them growing an extensive garden. You know, when you're doing a podcast 12 hours a day, you're not in the garden. And I just feel like my fitness, I used to go to the gym and I love the gym, but I'm still 205 right now. And I usually become 215 in the temperate rainforest, and I get down to 190 in the tropics. I shift depending on the climate. So right now I'm 205, and I keep muscle only because of this stuff. I'm 100% fitness by the job. I'm actually scared to finish the house and to complete this property because I won't have anything to do. I'll have to go back to the gym. But right now, I'm 100% growing my food, going to the ocean for the food, in the tropics or in the temperate rainforest. And I do have money. And so that's the temptation. I'm tempted when I'm in town to go buy. I know where the local places are. I know who's making local homemade ice cream. And I want to go get their ice cream sandwich, you know, because that's really tempting. I know who in town has the grass-fed, grass-finished cattle, and they have the meat that's 100% grass-fed, grass-finished. You know, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get chickens here at this property, which is going to be crazy because as soon as we get chickens, every cougar in the area is going to come in, and all the martens too, and the bears. So I got to really fortify the chicken coop and the surrounding property. So I really challenge you to do those things I just mentioned. Go find the local compost, grow some food, and then know 10 or 20 things that are local and wild in your area. If you can't afford a boat, find a way to get a canoe, or fish from the shore, or grab a gun and go in the ocean with a 3-prong and hold your breath. And if you can't build the garden yourself because you're not healthy enough, then spend some money and hire that 20-year-old or 15-year-old down the way to build it for you and then grow in it. So anyways, that's it, guys. I just wanted to say that I'm really afraid of how expensive things are getting. I bought these properties for a certain amount, and now I just saw some guy bought a raw land one by us, a new person, and there was one available that I didn't know it was raw land. I thought it was government land. They bought it for 700% more money than I paid for this one in 2017. Why? It's the same property. What's going on? Gold. Look at the price of gold right now. If you want to go buy an ounce of gold, it's $3,000. I love all your guys' comments. Anyways, I wanted to share with you guys how I'm gardening. So next what I'm going to do is, once I have this, here, I'll stick with you. Let me just do it. I'll show you. I don't want to talk anymore. Do it like this, and then I think it's important in your garden soil to put compost that's local, that's alive, or that you made yourself, and then put peat moss or coconut husk. So in the tropics, I save my coconut and I put it in the wood chipper and I chip my own coconut core. And here in the temperate rainforest, peat moss is literally like a humongous bag of peat moss is like 10 bucks, because this is where it's grown. It's grown here. Where it's like 40 bucks everywhere else. I like to do 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 compost, and then another third like perlite. So another thing I did with my money is I went to this local place that got humongous bags of perlite, and I bought like 50 bags because I felt like I wanted to be able to grow in the greenhouse for a long time. So, and perlite would allow my soil to be aerated, and I can always air layer and graft and root out cuttings in that perlite. So what I'm gonna do is I got all this cardboard down like that, and then I go over here and I grab the local made compost that I've been storing in my cheeks for 2 years. That's OMRI certified also. It's really cool. Super black. And it's like this, and then I'll spread that all around, and I'll fill this up to the tip top, because a new garden bed will always settle down. And so that'll become what I grow in. And then in this, I'll mix in a little peat moss and a little perlite. Perlite's a white rock that looks like styrofoam, but it's not. It's like a volcanic rock. And it just adds aeration to your soil. That's what I'm gonna do. So instead of going to the gym today, I'm gonna do that. And I still bet I can do more push-ups than you. But I do notice a lot of things. I noticed that my body's breaking down. Anybody still listening? Okay, I'll end this at 40 minutes. I gotta cook dinner for everybody here. So 2 more minutes. I noticed my body's breaking down. Like I noticed that my knees my knees normally are indestructible. Normally I feel like I can jump off the roof of stuff and I'm okay. But since doing the wood stove, I'm on my knees so much every day, twice a day. And I wake up cold at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and I'm the wood stove guy for the family to keep everybody warm. I want to keep the babies warm. And I'm always on my knees doing that. And somehow being on my knees that much, I think has kind of ground down my ACL. I never really had a moment where I did like a quick explosive move and I tore or popped something, but I think on my knees so much with the wood stove. Every time I leave the Canadian property here, we go to the tropical one, every time my knees are real hurt. And then we go to the tropical one and they heal up real strong. But then the tropical one, I do so much work there because it's just warm all the time that, you know, I throw my back out sometimes. So my back gets pinched, and this has actually been a long stretch where I haven't had any. Nah, knee pads aren't going to help me. It's not the contact. It's just the bending of them. Are you serious? I'm supposed to wake up at 3 in the morning out of a bed with my family and go grab wood in the dark with a headlamp on in the cold when it's 3 Celsius outside and chop wood, and then go to the fire and light it and keep the fire going for the family so it stays 23 degrees in the yurt. And I'm supposed to do all this and put knee pads on first at 3 in the morning in the dark with the cougars around and the bears around. And the other thing is, if I make this much noise, listen, ASMR freaks. If I make that much noise, everybody wakes up. So I gotta do all this wood stove business extremely quiet. Like I gotta open that wood stove handle or else everybody wakes up. I can't put knee pads on. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. Nicolle will also make fun of me because she thinks it's an old guy thing when you wear knee pads around too much. So I can't do it or else she'll call me old man. And then I noticed that maybe I have a little bit of a hernia or something going on. So I am keeping that back until I finish the house, and my back goes out. So this is probably a good almost year where I haven't had any kind of back issue, but I feel it's like a constant companion. I feel it there all the time. I have my own ways, like we all do, of keeping my pain at bay. I know how to keep my knees going. I know how to keep my back going, and I know how to not make the hernia worse. Anyways. So everyone's battling stuff, you know? I just want to garden. All right, Nicolle, I'm going to come in there and make dinner. Are you ready? What are you guys having for dinner? I really appreciate you guys coming on this live. Go check out our most recent video. It's all about the whole cooktop wok stove I built. And I've already been filming 3 more videos for you. I can't wait to show you. That's the other problem, is that I edit these things at night a lot of times. So see if I can edit them without falling asleep at the computer. Modified physical exertion as you will age. Yeah, but the thing is that like my whole day goes, I'm plumbing, I'm carpentry, I'm welding, I'm grinding, I'm bitch work, I'm finishing work, I'm the chef, I'm the dad, and I'm trying to maintain myself all at the same time. And I'm an electrician. So I can't always manage myself like that. If I was just in the city and I had a predictable desk job, I used to go to the gym, I can exercise accordingly, but I'm pretty fit still. I don't want to be this fit. You know, I can't wait. I told Nicolle, when Fox is 5 and River Willow are 3, these 2 houses are done and I'm going on break. Yeah, of course. I'm reading everybody's messages. I just can't respond to everybody here. It would get so boring. So please comment. I'm reading everybody's messages. Go put a comment on the video right now when I end it. Go put a comment on the main video. I'll leave comments open and then I'll respond to you. And tell me in the comments what I should talk about in the next live video, because I enjoy these live talks, but I can't stay away too long. I got the family over there. So love you guys, and stay close. Go to our most recent video, comment and like and watch it. And the next video coming out is going to be about what I'm doing on the container house, how I'm milling the wood, and how I built the mill start to finish, and how I'm using the mill to finish the container house, which we're going to have roof 1, roof 2, and a secret attic in roof 2. And I'll have all 6 of these garden beds finished. And then I'll be finishing the greenhouse with you, because the greenhouse was all sorts of effed up. And I had to build that. And I had to fix the compost 3 bay. And I have to finish the wood shed that's up there. So I have a lot to show you guys. And this is the life we've chosen to live. And I think it's powerful, because I think that it allows us to provide food with minimal cost. It allows us to live debt-free, because we are able to buy raw land very far away in a beautiful area that is not very expensive. So we were able to, and we're building the house ourselves. So we did these things to cut costs and at the same time learn about the native area so we can provide our own food from the ocean, and also live close to the ocean. I think that's very powerful. That's one thing Arizona has a problem with. They're not that close to the ocean, except for like they're close to Rocky Point or LA, but that's still pretty far. Thanks, guys. See you next time.